Alright guys, so I had a coworker of mine reach out and say that they wanted some legs built for their trading cards and some other things. I've been pretty successful making these legs in various sizes for different display photos or other artsy things that we've made. So what I'm gonna do is, for my coworker, I'm going to cut them out of acrylic. He wanted clear acrylic, so I made these kerf tools that have some measurements to find out what exact size it is, so that these legs aren't falling apart and every time they get bumped they're knocking over and stuff of that nature. So what I'm going to do is, I have this design file of these legs that I made here, so I'm going to modify them. I'm going to modify them down to make sure that they fit the kerf tool that I'm using, which I'm thinking it's either going to be the 2.540. That's going to be a pretty snug fit. I think it's probably going to be a better fit, but either the 2.540 or the 2.565. Not really sure yet. I'm going to cut a couple of the test cuts to see exactly which one I think's better of some of my scrap over there. Alright guys, so I designed the file. Now I'm going to take a piece of test scrap blue acrylic that I have, and I'm going to throw it in the laser. Once it's done, then I can get some test cuts with this, make sure the fit is perfect so that they're not sliding around, falling down for them, and go from there. I always put it in that corner just because, I don't know, I don't like putting it in the top corner. It's just easier to reach and stuff like that. Alright, so I have the acrylic in the machine. I got my files uploaded. So now what I'm going to do is basically fit them onto my canvas and cut them both, probably both at the same time, see which one I like more, and go from there. So it's done cutting, so let's see what it looks like. Okay, so I got both pairs, one set here, one set here. What I'm going to do is peel off the covering, whatever you want to call it, on both pair so that I know there's a good fit. I don't want to stretch it out or anything like that. I am going to use some tweezers. I probably wouldn't recommend these because they do scratch the acrylic, but since they are just tests, I'm going to use them anyways. So I got them both cut up, and I kind of suspected it, but the one is way better than the other. It's closer to a solid fit, little tighter at the top. Might need to be done a little bit because, as you can kind of see, there's a little gap right there, but it's actually a little bit better because it keeps it snug. That's what you want. You want it to stay tight. You don't want these to fall off every 2 seconds. And it just makes it a much better fit. Where this one, you can tell, it is off by a country mile. And I figured it would be, but it was that I had to test it just to see. That was definitely an extreme difference between the two. It was a much bigger difference between those. It was a 0.09 and a 0.10. So obviously you can tell that the 0.10 worked way better. And it's not like mine that I made before. Yes, this is nice, but you get wiggle room left and right, and if I were to grab this one, it's going to fall off. This, you can at least pick up the stand, and you have limited to no movement. Do they come apart? Yes. Is there any cracking in here? None that I can see. If it turned into an issue, what I would do with these is I would just split down the middle. They're a little snug, but like I said, they go together. They'll hold his trading cards up that he wants, and ideally I think they're going to be good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw the clear acrylic in the machine, and I'm going to cut 26 of these. This is my first time cutting a full 12 by 20, and let's see how it goes. Alright guys, so the acrylic that I use is 12 by 24. So what I've been doing is I will fit it in there, divide it on either side, so that it's basically centered between that hole and that side, so that the machine can still go back and forth, and then I can cut off an edge and still have a little extra test acrylic just in case something goes wrong or something of that nature. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up, cut off that edge. Alright guys, so everything is cut. Now let's take a look. Hopefully everything cut through 100%. I don't foresee there being an issue, but you never know. Well guys, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to get these all out and start to set them up. I'm debating if I take the wrapping off just so that my coworker can get them home. They won't get scratched. There'll be no issues with them. He can peel them off one by one, use them when he wants, versus the opposite of now they're all peeled. What happens if they get scratched if he's not using them all? So yeah, let me get them all out. Alright guys, so I think they came out pretty good. I think they could have been a little tighter. I'm not sure why they're not, but they're pretty, I mean, they're almost perfect for the most part. All you gotta do is take a little dab of probably some glue on the bottom, and these ain't going anywhere. If you guys liked the video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button right here, and go ahead and turn on post notifications. And we're going to continue to make content like this. This was a little different. I'll get used to it on how we're camera angles and all that jazz. So, alright guys, so we'll see you next time.